Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to do a classic rock reaction, man. This is a complimentary quad. Complimentary quad featuring the music of Led Zeppelin. And what we have here is, I believe, a bunch of instrumentals, if I'm not mistaken. Let me give you a lineup of the tunes, man. We're going to start with Heartbreaker, instrumental. When the Levee Breaks, rough mix with alternate vocals. Fool in the Rain, isolated drum track. And finally, Led Zeppelin, Untitled Jam Session. It's an Untitled Jam Session. Okay, man. Yeah, we're into that mode where we're checking out all of those outside tracks, all of those tracks that weren't complete, lost tracks, tracks that are just out there all over the place, that sort of thing. So it seems to all be kind of getting funneled in, man. So before I get going with this, I just want to give a shout out and a thanks very much to Joe Shield. Joe, thank you, man. Thank you for the recommendation. Also providing the links. I appreciate it. Joe wrote us a note here, man. Yeah, it's a whole paragraph. Let's check this out. Joe says, "Hi, STB. Here's my recommendation for a complimentary quad. All Led Zeppelin, but nothing you've reacted to in the past, and does not include any of their material, which I know you will be getting to shortly, any of their live material. The Zepp Quad consists of instrumental versions of existing tracks, isolated bass and drums for existing tracks, a rough mix with alternate vocals of an existing track, and a short Untitled Jam Session. This is great stuff. I hope you love it as I do. I kept in mind the length when putting these together and tried to keep it down time-wise, leaving enough time for you to do reactions and to keep within a reasonable length. I'm hoping my recommendations are not too much in the way of Zeppelin niche geekery. I think your subscribers will enjoy. Thanks, man. I love your channel. I came for the Zeppelin, but I stuck around for other stuff as well. Take care, my man, and stay safe during these crazy times. Joe." All right, Joe. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Let's hit up the first track, man. That is an instrumental of Heartbreaker. So this is off like a huge body, the Cutting Room Floor, and it's only part 3, and it's it's part of the Cutting Room Floor, and the Cutting Room Floor part 3 is over an hour long. So there's I don't know, this is part 3. I don't know how many parts there are to it. The Cutting Room Floor. All right, so from the Cutting Room Floor, Heartbreaker. Let's get it. We're the riff masters. gentlemen. All right. So that is Heartbreaker. Without the vocals, just instrumentals, man. It's quite a mental exercise, that was. You know, you're expecting the vocals to drop, and then you remind yourself it's just instrumental, and then you start to kind of absorb it and enjoy it, and then you marvel at how these guys were able to compose their stuff, you know. And I've said a number of times already in the last couple of weeks about Led Zeppelin that if they didn't have vocals, they would have still been a very successful rock instrumental band. You know, just these tracks without vocals, release them as just rock instrumentals, and they would still have a great fan base, you know, just because of the mastery of their musicianship, the thunder, you know, the bass groove, the guitar solos. Man, there's just too much there for you not to deny, for you to deny their greatness, you know. So it's really, really cool actually listening to it like this. I can appreciate listening to it like this. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. Anybody, and I mean anybody, who comes at me talking about you are wasting your time listening to instrumentals only, what's the point, all of that sort of stupid shit, don't even bother, because I'm going to throw it right back at you. I'm not going to listen. I'm telling you right now, anybody who comes at me like that, I am not going to be listening to you, paying attention. I'm not even going to answer your stupid comment, right? I'm telling you that right now. There's a few of you who have come at me like that in the last little while. And yeah, man, I don't have any time for you. If you don't have an appreciation for the way a song is created, the structural skeleton of a song, even before the vocals are added, then you are a very, very, very narrow-minded, incomplete individual in a sense where music is concerned, you know, because you got to appreciate the song from the ground up. This isolated listening really gives you an idea of how well they mastered the song. And I don't know how Led Zeppelin, now, did they figure out lyrics first, or did they figure out the music first? Answer that for me if you're a Led Zeppelin expert. But, you know, I know that some bands do the music first before the vocals, or vice versa, but I can't remember how Led Zeppelin does it. I'm guessing that they probably do the music first. You know, I mean, these three masterful musicians, I bet you that they can just sit there and just, hey, you know, this is what I've come up with. Okay, well, let me add my thunder to it. Okay, well, let me add my keyboards or whatnot, and, you know, go from there. Hey, Robert, this is what we got. Oh, yeah, let me come up with some lyrics. I am betting that that's probably mostly how they did it. Anyway, needless to say, I enjoyed the hell out of that, man. I enjoyed it almost as much as I enjoy the song with vocals. But again, it's a great mental exercise, and I appreciate just the mastery of their musicianship alone, man. It's isolated. And you know, here's that test. If you've never heard of Led Zeppelin, right? And you're at a party, like I'm often at a party and I'm listening to these songs. You're at a party and this track comes on without any verbiage, you know, and you're listening to it, you'd be like, yo, what is this shit? This shit is on, holy. And if somebody says to you, this is a group called Led Zeppelin, they don't have vocals, it's just instrumentals. And the instrumentals, all of the tracks are as hot as this. You would say, oh my God, that is cool. That is really, really cool. And you'd want to know more. You'd want to get into it a little bit more. So when you appreciate and isolate what they've done in creating the music, you know, it just kind of expands your horizons a little bit. I'm still talking to some of those people that hit me up about, oh, what are you wasting time with Led Zeppelin instrumentals for and lost tracks for and this, and you're just spinning your wheels and, you know, this is getting dull, this is getting boring. Man, just get lost, right? That's all I got to say to you. So, the cutting room floor, that's what this is from. And sorry, I'm just doing a click here, and I'm not seeing anything on Google search except it's taking me to YouTube. Yeah, okay, the cutting room floor. This is a compilation album of unreleased Led Zeppelin content. The purpose of the project is to bridge the gap between the niche bootleg community and the casual listener. It's experimental in nature and is hardly a professional product, simply a hobby. And this is the host of the channel here that's compiled this cutting room floor. Okay. Oh yeah, and sorry, I didn't read my note before I started this. Joe said, possibly the sickest guitar riff and filthiest bass line ever recorded, for me anyway. Maybe you'll agree with the assessment. It's definitely not far off, man. Yes, so I think what I'll do with this quad is I'm going to spare you guys the reading element, especially of the songs that we already know and that we've already covered, like Heartbreaker. You know, I've already done a read. When the Levee Breaks, that's our next one. I've done a read for that, and Fool in the Rain. Only one that I'm not familiar with would be this fourth one, being the Untitled Jam. I guess that's just what it's called. All right. So, man, let's check out When the Levee Breaks. And it's a rough mix with alternate vocals, recorded May the 19th, 1971, also from the cutting room floor. And Joe says here, in many ways, I believe this version to be superior to the one on the fourth album. Wow, okay. Let's check that out, man. Joe, you got me all hyped up now. All right. When the Levee Breaks, the cutting room floor. Let's get it. Kansas Joe McCoy and Memphis Minnie would think of Led Zeppelin's rendition of their song. All the thunder in it. That wonderful cerebral haunt. Where does this rank among your favorite Led Zeppelin songs? When the Levee breaks. Oh man. You hear the way that bass just dropped. All right. That was a really, really cool listen, man. Alternate vocals. And of course, you know, the big question mark as you're listening to this tune is, geez, I wonder if they did this with all of their songs. And did they leave a trail? Is there a trail that we could pick up? Is it in the body of this cutting room floor? So if this is part 3 and it's almost 2 hours long, how many parts are there? Are they all this long? Is it covering the whole Led Zeppelin catalog, you know, with maybe different instrumentals, ultimate vocals? I'd like to look into that some more. Let me know, Joe. You're just giving me one link here. Probably have to go doing a little seek and a little search. But that was cool, man. That was really cool to listen to the song in an alternate version. You know, a little bit extended. It's a couple of minutes. Well, it's almost a minute longer than the album version. And yeah, man, hey, even when they're just jamming, just doing their thing, it's still got that masterful signature. They've still got the full complement of all of their great talents to bear. You know, fantastic, man. It's not polished, it's not refined, but it's still Led Zeppelin. Yeah, so yeah, I gotta look into this cutting room floor a little bit more, man. Explore that some more. And definitely, if a lot of the tracks are alternate vocals, added instrumentation, or whatever the case may be, it might definitely warrant another string of reactions. We'll see. When the Levee Breaks, that was really good, man. That was really, really good. Now, I wish that I had the lyrics in front of me. Sometimes I didn't hear what he was singing, but I had a feel for where he was going with it. And that was really, really good, man. I've heard that Plant is notorious for doing that, switching up his vocals often, especially in live performances. So, you know, I guess, you know, when you're just a master of your song and in the zone, you can do that. I also heard, who was telling me this story? Was I watching a program? There was something about where in the middle of the night they would have an inspiration and they just want to jam, you know, at 1, 2 in the morning. And they would knock on their engineer's door asking him to open up, was it the mobile studio or whatever? And so after a while, the engineer decided, I'm not going to do this anymore. From now on, I'm not going to sleep on location with them. I'm going to lock up and I'm going to go home so that they don't get these inspirations and wake me up in the middle of the night to do their jamming and recording or whatnot. So that tells you, man, yeah, those guys definitely had passion. And they were really following their inspiration. And that's why they're so good. Cutting their own floor, cutting their own path. All right. Yeah, I got to look into this cutting room floor. So you know what we'll do? Let's check out our next track, man. That being Fool in the Rain. And it's an isolated drum track. And there's a big note here from Joe. Joe says, excuse my throat, this is heavy and deep. Unfortunately, the track cuts off abruptly. After the middle samba section, however, Bonzo makes his statement still. Trust me, this is worth it, man. I got into drums because of this particular drum track, and a whole lot of love isolated drum track, but we'll save that for another day. Whole lot of love, yeah. Very brief Bonzo and Plant banter at the beginning. Very cool. Okay, let's check it out, Joe. Fool in the Rain. I heard an isolated drum track for Fool in the Rain before, and I believe it was polyphonic. He was breaking it down, and it was the first time that I'd actually heard Fool in the Rain, just the isolated drumming, and that was really cool. So let's check this out. It's a little longer, almost 5 minutes, man. Here we go.
One, two, one, two, one, two, 1, 2, 3, 4.
This guy's remarkable. Just doing this. That is some thunder, boy. Okay. It ends abruptly, he warned. All right. Wow. John Bonham, man. Yeah, he's a force, man. He's a phenom. One of those wonders of the world. He would be what, the ninth wonder of the world. I've mentioned about John Bonham. This is only my personal opinion. Some of you would agree, and I understand. I believe that he is at his best when he's within the context of Led Zeppelin with the rest of the band. Um, by himself, let's say, I don't know that he would win many drum contests, drum rolling and all that, because I know that people would be looking for precision and all of these technicalities and things of that sort that he might not incorporate. He's probably capable of it, but he might not incorporate it because it's just not his style. He is, in my opinion, at his very best within the confines of the band. Now, Bonham might not win a drum roll contest where Neil Peart would probably win a drum rolling contest just because of their different styles and whatnot. That doesn't make Neil Peart better than John Bonham. John Bonham is not better than Neil Peart. They're just two different drummers, very, very well fitted for their respective bands. Bonham's charm comes through just with this. Doesn't seem like he's doing much here, but it's the essence of it that's coming through. I often talk about guitarists who have that ability to make their instrument talk, and they're talking to you through their guitar playing. Well, Bonham has that effect, man. He can talk to you through his drumming, and the message and the language is thunder. Dropping some thunder on your ass. That is the message I'm sending your way. And so, yo, man, this guy was definitely a force. He had a lot of essence, a lot of charm in his playing. There was like, that song Magnet and Steel? He is the magnet and we're the steel. So attracted to the element of his drumming. There was just something magical about the mix of his drumming. And he seems to stand alone on that premise. I haven't conquered all of classic rock. I haven't explored all of classic rock. I'm sure that there are many other drummers to discover and whatnot, but I know enough already, a year and a half into it, that this is a very, very unique individual, one of which we may never ever see again, where it comes to being a very, very special, very gifted musician. We may never see the likes of a John Bonham ever again. That's some sad shit. Sad but true though. Yeah, props to the man for being so damn good. So, yeah, I'm not going to do any reading or anything like that. We've already covered Fool in the Rain in a previous reaction. So what we'll do, we'll just check out this fourth track, man. The Untitled Jam Session. All right. Led Zeppelin, The Untitled Jam Session. Let's get it.
A job called Genesis produced by Mojo.
Without nothing would have been possible.
Mojo? Is it called Mojo?
This album will still be a 16 track tape.
I think it's called Mojo.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He's just going off on those drums, isn't he? He's not even waiting for everyone else. Excellent jam, man.